Hi, class. I see that some of you are having some issues transferring over and using the mental ray shaders in Maya. So I kind of wanted to just do a quick tutorial to kind of cover that. What we're doing is using the Mia material, okay? But what is happening is now that we're wanting to do some layering, there's a new material in there called a Mila material, and it's the one that we'll want to use to create layers with. So let me just go over this real quickly and show you how to do that. Okay, so I just have a simple plane in here and a simple box. Okay, let's put some materials on these. So I'm just going to go up here and get my node editor. And so I'm going to right click here, create a node, and let's put something on our ground. So let's get our materials here. We're just going to put a Mia material on our ground. That'll work for it. So we'll just go ahead and pick that and apply that to it. And then we'll have a base file on that. Okay, so now we've got a shader, mental ray shader on the ground, get some reflection in there. So now let's put our shader on the object in here. Okay, so for that, we're going to go in here and create a Mila material down here. Okay, and let's go ahead in here and line these out. Okay, so here's my Mia material, and we can go over here and name this. This is my ground Mia. Okay, and this is my Mila material. So this is my box Mila. Okay, and so our two shaders. Okay, now the thing about the Mila shader is that by default it's just a base shader, so it's kind of a layer. You'll see it's got a layer node in here, so it's a kind of a shader that is a base shader, and then we add the attributes to it. It's kind of different from what you're used to using. You're used to using shaders in which that they have all these attributes to it. Well, it is a base shader. I mean, a down dirty base shader. It's based on the Lambert shader structure, but it is a physical base shader. Okay, so as we can see over here, we've got a diffuse color here, so we can come in and make this whatever color we want it to be. Okay, and that'll be our base colors. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so now what we want to do is to add some things to this. Okay, now by its base, all it has is color, and it's got roughness. Roughness is micro abrasion. So as you go to the left, when you go to the right, we're turning the roughness up. Down to the left, we're turning it off. We're going to leave it off for this. Now, we have different kinds of base components. This is just our base shader. We can add layers on top. See the layer button here? We can add layer things on top of it. I can come in here and change this. Maybe I want to change this from a diffuse to a diffuse reflective. Okay, so I have a reflective node down in here. I can deal with that too. Okay, so that it's more of a reflective kind of shader. So we have different ways that we can play with the base. Okay. And now you'll see what happened in here. What it actually did was it got rid of that diffuse node in here. Okay, it still left it in here, but it got rid of the diffuse nodes and replaced it with a reflective node. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and delete that out of here. Okay, you also have some extended properties down here, which are visibility, which is this kind of takes the place of a cutout map. Okay, you're used to a cutout map possibly. This is visibility. So it's I can set the amount of how transparent something is by kicking this down, or I can load a mask in here for transparency. Okay, it can do it either way. So what we're going to want to do is, if you're having a bitmap and we want to float a bitmap on this, okay, then the first thing we need to do is to be able to create the bitmap we want on it. So you'll want to pick your object. We'll want to come up here and open up our UV editor. And then you'll see that we've got an unwrap in here. Now you have to kind of figure out where you want to put your, logo that we're going to put on something. So we'll go to face here and I can pick that side if I want my face to show up on that side. And then you'll see that's this node right here, this part of the box. So we kind of have to figure that out. All right. Then you want to go ahead and kick this out as a template to take into Photoshop to put your logo where you want to put it. So we'll go up here to polygons, UV snapshot. And then let's go ahead and change this to a 2048. By default, it'll keep the aspect ratio square. And then let's kick it out as a target file. Okay. And we can click OK. So that'll kick that out. And now we can go in here to Photoshop. And let me get Photoshop up. Okay, so we'll open that up in Photoshop. Okay. Okay, so there's the quadrant that we needed. Okay, so now we can come in and put a logo in there. Okay, so let's go in here. And I've got a Batman logo. Okay, now we'll want this logo to be reversed. So black is transparent, white is opaque. So we'll want to reverse this. So let's just go in here and invert this. And so now I can bring it and let's see, we're going to need to. We're going to need to change its mode to index. Okay, and then we should be able to copy that. And paste it in here. All right, we're going to put the logo into this section right here. All right, so the other thing we're going to want to do is let's go ahead and make this just a black layer here. Now we're going to need to put it into an alpha channel. Okay, so we're just going to select the whole thing, Control A, then Control Shift C to copy this entire thing. Then you're going to go to your channels, and if you don't have an alpha channel in here, okay, a lot of times you don't, it's 24-bit, just come up here, new channel, create an alpha channel, and then just paste into that. And that's pasted that into our alpha channel. Okay. So now I can save this out. Let's save it out. And I'm going to save it as a target file. And we'll just call this Batman logo. And we want it 32-bit to store the alpha channel. If you do 24-bit, it won't store that alpha channel. So we want to do 32-bit to store the alpha channel. Okay, so got that. And so now what we can do is we can add another layer in here. So we're going to go over here, add a layer. You want a weighted layer. This is, you have different kinds of layers, and I'll kind of explain this later, but you're going to want a weighted layer here. And let's just do a diffuse reflection on there. And you'll see that adds another layer on top of this that goes right on top. These are just layers that are stacked in here. Okay. So what we're going to do is, if you render this now, it's laid that on top of it. Okay, so it's laid it right on top of the other one. So these are stacking on top. So what we want to do is in this weight layer here, we want to load our bitmap. So we're going to click right here. We're going to load from a file. Then in our image right here, we're going to go over and get our Batman logo. And then we'll render. And then that's put our logo on here. Okay, so let's go ahead and set us a brighter color in here, something like the red. Okay, and then let's just go ahead and maybe rotate this around so it's a little easier to see that. And so then we'll render, and you'll see our logo on there. Okay, so that's how you get layered shaders. And so instead of using a Mia, you're using a Mila material. Okay, and then you're stacking layers on top of there, and you can stack as many layers as you want in there. You can give the layers different kinds of attributes, but for our project, all we really need for this point is you've got your base shader, whatever color, and of course you can put textures on there, and then we're laying our mask with a shader right back on top of it, and that's how you do it. So hopefully that'll help you out. I know some people were confused on that a little bit. It's a little bit different than in Max. Maya is a little bit more complicated to use than Max. Max pretty straightforward. Everything's pretty easy to use. Maya has it's really a more complicated software, and so you have to jump through a lot more hoops to get things to work the way we want to work them. But then again, it has a lot more flexibility to do a lot of more customizations than you can do in Max. So it's kind of a balance in there. So hopefully that'll help you guys in understanding how to build your shaders. Okay, thank you.